Hello everyone and welcome to the Chair Sessions with Dr. D. I'm excited about tonight's guest. I first saw tonight's guest performing with the Kat Riggins Band at the Cottonmouth Soul Kitchen in Bradenton, Florida, and then again with the 𝘱𝘏 Band at Betsy's Sound Reflections in New Jersey. All I can tell you, it was rock, blues, and soul, and a lot of great dancing. So I have Mark Barner on the line tonight. And tonight, Mark is going to be talking to us about his album, My Hat, My Blues. So we're not going to waste any time. Welcome aboard, Mark.
Hey, man. How you doing? It's good to be here.
Great to have you on tonight. So I'm excited to hear about your album. We're going to go over the album, some songs, inspirations. Before we actually get into the album, though, for those of our listeners not familiar with you, how about a little introduction, a little bit about your background and how the music journey started for you?
Awesome, man. So my name is Mark Barner. I'm originally from Georgia, South Georgia. And a little bit about me. I'm a little quiet at first when you meet me, unless you see me on stage first, then I'm kind of loud. But I'm a pretty laid back person. I'm down to earth, man. I love people. I love, making new relationships with people and getting to know people. I think that's what it's all about is growing together and learning people and coming together. I grew up in South Georgia. I spent most of my life there. And I've been down in Florida for about 4 years now. I've been doing music all my life. I think maybe I wrote my first song when I was like 16. And at the time, at a young age, I was into R&B and gospel, and I grew up listening to country music. And I think I was introduced to the more blues side later on in life when I got here to Florida. And I've been doing blues, like soul blues, the last 4 years. And I got to tell you, man, doing the blues, it really broadened my awareness of music itself and made me realize that, blues is kind of like the glue in everything that we listen to today when it comes to music.
So that's a great insight. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's go back a little bit farther. I want to hear about how it developed. So you mentioned country and gospel too. So
yeah. So I grew, and a lot of people don't know, I grew up on a farm.
Mm-hmm.
So I was out in the country, and my dad, he would listen. I would be in the truck out in the fields and stuff, and the only thing he would listen to was country music. Now, when I was a kid, I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I just didn't want to hear it. So every time he got out of the truck or left me there, I would turn to my other station there with the R&B music with the guys I like, and I would listen to that. And even, on Saturdays, we had a lot of grass that we had to cut. So I was out there cutting it. So I would get on the riding lawnmower, and I had a little Walkman back then. I put on the little Walkman, and I had my cassette tapes, and I would play all of my R&B music and just sing them as loud as I wanted to out in the country.
Nice.
So I kind of grew up listening to country, and I don't think I really grasped it all the way until I was like a teenager, and I actually found some artists that I like, and they kind of tuned more over to the R&B side. So I was like, okay, I like country now. Like it sounds a certain way for me. But with music, I was telling somebody this story the other day because they actually asked me. It was like, so man, when did you, really know that you could sing? Like, how did you figure that out? And it made me think back to my third grade teacher. We were having a little get together in the class where she had stations set up where we were all rotating and doing different things. And me and my buddies, we all went to the radio station. And I turned to my little station that I love to hear to show my buddies. And it was a song on there that I knew. And so we all got to singing, and I started singing. And before you know it, the whole class was quiet. Everybody was just standing. The teacher was standing behind me, and she was just looking at me. At the time, I'm a kid, so I didn't think anything of it. But she was like, in shock that, this little kid is singing like he's singing. So she went and told all the teachers or whatever, and I had to sing for everybody. But at that moment, I was like, okay, that must mean I sound good somehow.
Do you remember
So
the
I
song?
continued. I believe it was a song of Aaliyah's. I can't remember exactly which one, but
Okay.
I know it was her. Um, but from that moment on, like I jumped into the music thing. I had a little keyboard at home, and I would go home every day and try to figure that thing out. It took me a while, and I played a little bit. And the songs that I liked on the radio, I would sit for weeks until I figured out how to play them. And I would get excited, and I'd show my parents, look, this is what I learned, and I'll play that for them. And I just grew up and continued on in the music. Once I got to high school, I was in show choir, which is like a singing, dancing thing, and we traveled a bit. So the stage presence kind of came from there,
Oh,
of me
cool.
learning how to, smile on stage and interact and entertain and control my vocals. And I learned a lot about that then.
So you got that at a young age, the whole performance part.
Yeah, man, I definitely enjoyed it.
And and what were some of the country influences? I know you mentioned it a couple times. But what were the country influences that hooked you? Where you kind of made that transition to like, oh, okay, I can get into this.
Yeah, so it was one group that I listened to, and
Uh-huh.
and before I had never seen them. I only heard them on the radio. So when I heard them, I thought that they were a complete group of singers, and just like the R&B stuff I would listen to, Rascal Flatts.
Oh yeah, right
And
on.
it took me a while to realize that it was this one guy in the group that was the lead singer that was just killing. I love their instrumentation. I love the way they sounded,
Oh, their
and
harmonies too, right?
they are off the chain.
Yeah.
And I definitely enjoy these stories they told in their music. So that is one of the main artists from the countryside that really hooked me into country. But I learned a lot from them, and even other artists. But I learned, like you mentioned, their harmonies and stuff.
Mm,
I learned those, and I was like, oh man, I want to do this. Like I want to figure out how to make these sounds that they're making and harmonize. And my biggest thing about music has always been the message in the music.
mm,
What is it saying? What is it delivering? What are we, if someone's listening to your music, what are they getting from it?
right
It's
on.
positive that they can take it into their life and make it better. And that comes with most of the artists that I chose to listen to throughout my life.
Mm. You talked about gospel influences too. So background in the church.
Yes. So every Sunday, you were in church somewhere. I was in South Georgia. So it wasn't no sleeping in late. It wasn't, you're not going. It was none of that. You're going to church. So Sunday mornings was like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and mom or auntie or grandma is up, and they're cooking Sunday dinner for after church. And the radio's blasting. You got all the good gospel songs going, and that pretty much wakes you up. They don't have to wake you up on Sunday morning.
What
Yeah,
were you waking
you're
up
gonna
to?
hear it. You're gonna hear it all out in the house. So a lot of the stuff that I remember from that age was groups, like the William Brothers or the Spiritual QCs, or
Hmm.
and I really got into the William Brothers because of the harmonies, like the quartet thing there,
Right.
and it was gospel and it was soulful, and the guys are just, they're singing their hearts out, and you listen to it and it really makes you feel it. It takes you to a place.
Getting you up on
Uh,
your feet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's definitely in church when you get to church. Now, the church that I went to, it was a small country church. We didn't have too many members, maybe 20 at the time. We didn't have a choir. We didn't have a musical section. It was more so of the voices. People came to church. It was all about voices and clapping hands and doing devotion.
Praise.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
I used to love listening to devotion and listening to the deacons of the church They got it there, and they would sing these songs. And at that age, I didn't know what they were meaning, but I just knew it sounded good.
And you were feeling it, like you said.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, I want to sing that song. So I would sit there and listen, and I would even write words down just so I could learn to sing them and sing along with them. And listening to the pastor, even in Baptist churches, the pastors, they always had this, like, it was a talk singing thing that they did. I didn't understand it. I'm like, how is he doing that? He's talking, but he's singing. That's how they would deliver their message.
Oh, so they were singing the sermon?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so in Baptist, I don't know if any other denominations if they do that or not, but I know in Baptist church.
So you're not falling asleep?
No, you're not gonna fall asleep. Now they're gonna keep your attention. But it sounded good to me, man. I loved it, and that's what really drawed me into like the gospel side of things. Back to the Williams brothers, I love those guys. Just their harmonies and the songs and the words that they sung. It doesn't matter who you are. If you hear it, it's gonna touch you.
Yeah.
Like they let you know that, okay, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I mean, and I want you to feel it too, even if you're not here.
And isn't it great when you get it, when you feel it?
Absolutely, man. You can't beat that feeling.
And so you were inspired by the voices of the church, and also, you mentioned earlier about the message. I mean, so add the voices of the church with the message of the church. Woo, that's a whole lot of inspiration right there at an early age.
Yeah, man.
And so I find it interesting. I'm loving hearing about the background now, because it puts a lot of the two performances that I saw into perspective. Because honestly, both bands that you were performing with at two different places, they both had the revival feel to them. Like,
yes.
Like you were just, there was, if you were open to really listening to the music, I mean, you were on your feet, stomping your feet, clapping your hand. I mean, it was like a party, a revival party both times. And that's the part, same thing for me, that kind of resonated strong. It really, it struck me and it moved me in not only spiritually, physically, moving the body, dancing around. So it was that whole, sensory experience. That's the part of music that I love, and that's the part that I love how you resonate that with. You've resonated with the two bands that you've played with, and now you're going to talk to us today about the message you're bringing. So let's talk a little bit about your album, My Hat, My Blues.
Yeah, man.
Uh-huh. So let's start from the beginning. How did the whole thing come together?
Yeah, man. So My Hat, My Blues was right when I got into the blues, with House of Berry Productions. Those guys over there, they was like, hey man, you got a pretty nice voice. What you think about doing blues? And I was like, you know what, man, I love music, man. I love learning new things and getting into new things. Only got into the blues. And My Hat and My Blues, the actual name of the album didn't come about, I think, until we finished like maybe the 5th or 6th track. And we started with a song, with a single, actually. It was called Stuck. And we got into more so of writing and getting into stories or getting into emotions where people can, not so much as listen just to the instrumentation or just listen to the vocals, but understand the words as well and understand the message. So Stuck was like one of those, for me personally, I love everybody. I'm a lover man. And I think I said it at shows. I love my women. And I love to see people in relationships and love each other. So Stuck was one of those songs where, if you've spent your time with that person that you love, and sometimes life gets ahead of you. And we see each other every day, and we come home, and sometimes we forget the simple things in life and forget to come home and say, I love you, or come home and say, I appreciate you for doing, what you do for me. Well, I just appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
we forget those simple things in life sometimes.
Yeah,
And
that
stuff,
simple mindfulness.
yeah, man. And stuff kind of hit on the reminder of, hey, I'm stuck to you. I'm not going anywhere. I love you. I appreciate everything you've done for me up until this point and forevermore. And I think us as people, we should try to home in on that every day and
Amen.
remind that person that we're with that, hey, I still get the butterflies about you when I see you. Because life can be tough. Life throws, a lot of things at us each and every day, every second that it gets.
It sure does.
And to have that person there to balance that out, that means the world, man. So we got to let them know that we love them. So it got into a
Amen.
song like that.
Yeah, so
And
it's funny that you started talking about that one. That was actually on my list because that was the first inclination that I had that you had started to do your own, do your own writing and have your own songs. I wasn't aware of that the first time that I saw you, but I think it was at Betsy's house.
mhm.
You actually performed "Stuck," and I was like, "Yeah, this is great."
Yeah, man. So that and the rest of the album was a joint collaboration when it came to writing. Because I was new to the blues. So some of the sounds and how you should structure songs to make them sound the right way, I was a
Hmm.
rookie, what they would call it. So House of Berry really, they taught me a lot about the blues and pretty much showed me the way of how to go. So that was those songs there that are on the album are a collection of, me and their production team in writing.
House of Berry Productions.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit about House of Berry Productions.
So that's who I got with. Their head man over there is Tim Mulberry, and he's actually the DM for the 𝘱🡪 Band and pretty much the music guy. He's super talented, he's outstanding when it comes to making music and melodies and harmonies and writing. I learned a lot while I was there. Even in different styles between, I know you mentioned seeing me with the 𝘱🡪 Band and also Kat Riggins,
Hmm.
and those are two different styles of blues. So I learned a lot. It was a lot. It was like I was thrown in the fire. Um,
Baptism by fire.
yeah, absolutely. So I learned a lot from both of Shay and Kat. They taught me a lot, especially when it comes to being on stage and performing and being able to control what you got going on stage and staying engaged with the crowd. When it came to writing music and understanding sounds, that was more so of Tim. Tim, he showed me a lot of things about, okay, when I talk about stories a lot, because I had a lot of music that I've written before that time. And then coming into the blues, it was kind of new to me. So he was like, okay, so here's how you kind of articulate a story within the blues so it makes sense with the music. Um, and I was just a sponge, man. Like I soaked it all up, the musical side of it, everything that it had to offer, and it added to me of who I am today.
Fantastic. So, before you started soaking it up at the with the House of Berry, what was your perception of the blues? What did you know about the blues? What was your take on the blues? Did you have influences?
Absolutely, man. So with the blues, one of the first guys that I've been on for a while is BB King.
Oh, talk about
Like,
performers, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
man. I learned a lot from him watching some of his shows, like pulling
Mm.
him up and watching him just perform, like watching how he moved on stage and the songs he played and the stories he told, and just even the moments of where he would, stop singing and actually talk to the crowd and,
Mm.
you know, give them a message, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
engage with them. I learned a lot of that stuff from him. On another one of my influences was Ray Charles. I'm a
Oh,
big
yeah.
Ray Charles fan, man. I mean, all day long. And plus the fact I'm from Georgia, so
Mm.
um, singing Georgia on My Mind is like one of my favorites. I learned a lot from Ray Charles, how to be versatile, and don't be afraid to be inside of a box when it comes to creating music, even in the blues or in R&B or in Southern Soul or whatever. Don't be in a box.
Oh.
We're all creators.
Yeah.
We all can create things of our own nature, and sometimes society tells us we don't do it that way, or we can't
conform to this.
Absolutely.
Or conform to that.
Yeah, which that leads to the thing that I was going to tell you. You're probably going to ask me about it later. But my new single that I'm going to put out here pretty soon is called "Don't Tell Me I Can't."
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
is that a rebel song?
Is
that rebel blues?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Nice.
We all had those moments in life, man, where either we were trying to create something, or we're trying to do something, or whether it was changing careers, or just going a different route in life.
Yep.
And you have all your regular people around you, and they're like, "No, don't do that. Why would you do that?" And that doesn't seem the right way to go. Or do it this way, or how about do this instead? But you feel that certain thing in your heart and your soul that you want to do, and it's just a song about. Sometimes you got to tell people, don't tell me I can't do it.
Right.
I'm going to show you that I can, and I'm going to put my heart and soul into it, and I will be successful. And that's the thing that a lot of times that happens to our younger generation, where there are people around them that tell them that they can't do it, or they can't do this, and they end up, somewhere in a bad situation because they're unhappy in life. Yeah. I tell people all the time, do the things that make you happy, no matter who's saying this or who's saying that. It's about what makes us happy. We're responsible for our own happiness in life. And we have to learn how to go and do those things and make ourselves happy. Find some happiness in life. Because life's tough, man.
So true. You talked about Ray Charles and B.B. King.
Yeah, man.
So had you ever seen B.B. King or Ray Charles perform live?
Unfortunately, I did not get to see either one of them. The closest I've gotten to Ray Charles is the city that I grew up in. It's called Americus, Georgia. And there's another city, Albany, Georgia, that's about 30 to 45 minutes away from there. And Ray resided there for a while. So they have an actual memorial park there, a few statues, and museum. So I had the opportunity to go and check that out and sit out there and just think of all the times I've seen Ray do his thing, and that was something to me. So that's closest that I've gotten to Ray Charles. BB is more so of me watching online and social media and finding things of that nature.
Cool. So I was a little bit late to the party with the blues, but luckily, I actually was able to catch both of them. I actually saw B.B. King quite a few times, and they don't call it the B.B. King Performer of the Year award for nothing. Like you see him once, and and even to watch him watch the videos, you can see why there's an award named after him.
Absolutely.
And Ray Charles, I saw really, literally, almost a couple years before he passed. He was in his 80s. He played in a small room in Atlantic City, and the energy that he had, he was dancing around and singing. He was moving a little slow, but when he started singing, it was a party. And it was funny because there were some people in the audience that were, closer to his age, probably in the 80s. And this one woman was dancing and singing and praising, throwing her hands up in the air and singing, "Don't you come back no more, no more."
Yeah,
and she was in the aisle moving and shaking and throwing her hands up. And then in between, at the end of every song, she would get back in her chair, her head would go down, she'd take a little snooze for like the last maybe, minute or two of the song. And then when the next song started, she'd pop back up. And she went through this for every song. She would like nap in between the songs. And when I left that night, it was like, it was such a cool experience, and I'm so grateful to be able to have had that, because we can listen to the albums and feel it when you see him perform live. Like you can feel the physical presence, the physical energy. Words can't even describe it. So I wanted to share that because, sometimes we listen to the records and they're so moving, and then when you see them live, it's like a whole nother sensory. It brings it to like a whole nother level, and it sounds to me like that's what you're on your way to doing.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm working towards.
So tell us about the players on the album, on your album.
Yeah, man. So all of those guys are the House of Berry, and pretty much they're so if you see the 𝘗𝘮𝘮 Band, they're pretty much that's who they are. So you got Eric Guest on lead, and Curtis Harris on the bass, and Tim O'Berry on those drums there, and pretty much every other instrument. And 𝘗𝘮𝘮's on. Tim and Shay are doing the background vocals there.
There's a lot of fire in that band.
Yeah, man.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Let's talk about the songs. We're going to go through some almost like liner notes.
Okay.
Only you don't have to read them. We're going to talk about them.
Awesome.
So we'll talk about some of the songs on the My Hat, My Blues album.
Mm-hmm.
So Back to the Blues, really soulful.
Yeah, man.
Tell us about some background, whatever you want to say about the song, inspiration, background.
Back to the Blues is actually one of my favorites, man. So it tells a story. It incorporates the blues, but it tells a story of heartbreak somewhat, and breaking up, and or a point in life where we get distracted from the things that we love the most. And you have that moment in life and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go back to what I do best. I'm going to go back to what I know, or what moves me, or what moves my soul. And going back to the blues, I always envisioned the video. Like, I'm in this old pickup truck, and I got my little bag on my shoulder, and I'm riding down the road, just bumping Back to the Blues and looking out the window, waving with a smile.
Nice.
All right, I'm headed back to the blues, man. So that's actually one of my favorite tracks, man. Sound, story, and all.
Next one, My Maybe.
My Maybe. Oh yeah. So a lot of my music is geared towards relationships. I love to see people happy. I love to see, people prospering together. But we also have to realize that there are those moments in relationships where, everything's not peachy.
That's right.
Everything's not, smiles and all.
Peaches and cream.
Yeah, peaches and cream, man. Sometimes you might come in the house and she mad at you. You got to find a way to tighten up, make her smile. And then, of course, on the other side there, it goes both ways. The women, sometimes we grumpy. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just don't want to do. And it's about that being soft, and the feminine side of a woman has so much power for us men, and that love and care and tenderness. So that song there, My Maybe, was a moment where a guy was feeling like, I've been out here running around and doing all these things and talking to this woman here, and I like this woman over here, and maybe, I ran into this one right here, and she is a little different.
Right.
She might want to sit me down for a second. I had to rethink what I'm doing.
Let me think this through.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's an expression of, let me sit down and slow down. So she might just be the one.
Yeah, let me sort this out.
Oh yeah, man.
So the writing on these songs, were they written for the album, or was some of the stuff written before?
They were actually written for the album.
Okay.
I think Art Crab may have been written before. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's the next one I was just going to ask you about. Heart Cry.
Yeah, Heart Crab may have been written before, partially written, and I believe we picked up on it and finished it on out and kind of threw in the feelings and emotions of Mark Barner. Because that's what we tried to implement into everything of my story and how I view things and how I feel about things. So Heart Cry, I tell people all the time, that's kind of like in one of my influences, David Ruffin. That's one of my David
yeah.
Ruffin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So I tried my best to emulate him a little bit on that song vocally. But that's one of those songs that you express, when your heart cries out, don't let it run dry. Things in your life, some things that we hold on to for a long time, they come and they go. People, I learned a saying in church, you have people that come for reasons, seasons, and lifetimes.
That's it.
So everybody is not always meant to stay, although they may be great, when you meet them. They meet every expectation.
Yep.
But sometimes they're just there to teach you something.
Yeah, for a specific purpose.
Absolutely. For you to hold on to and move on in life and progress. So, your heart cries out, you let it go, man. Especially, I think, sometimes with us men, we so masculine most of the time.
We want to hold it in.
Rah. Yeah, rah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to let that go, fellas, and let it breathe. Get that stress off your shoulder, because the world is heavy, man.
Oh, yeah.
And it's even better when you got that person that you stuck to, pun intended, with that shoulder to cry on.
And I guess being able to write songs and express the songs is you talked about letting it go, man. Talk about being able to lift it up and let it go. I guess it's a lot easier when you can put it in a song and really, belt it out.
It feels good,
right?
Man. Like it's a release.
Yeah, catharsis.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that Heart Cry is the song on the album that probably best reflects your vibe, your who you are, of all the songs on the album?
I would say if I had to put them in order,
yep,
in that light, that would be number one.
Okay.
Most of the things that I create and write, they're emotional.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna make you feel what I'm saying. I'm gonna paint a picture and create a story of. I want you to listen and put yourself here.
Amen.
And either you're in my shoes or you're in the other person's shoes or you're just in that situation. I believe that we all have similar things that we go through in life, no matter, where you're from, who you are.
Yeah. We
all have similar things that we go through. And I believe if we share those things with each other more often, that we could all come together.
Amen. And that's why we're here talking today, because that's what you resonate when you perform. That's the music I love, the music that you feel, the music that takes you into a world that maybe you're not even familiar with that much, or a world that you relate to very much. That's the great thing about it. When you're taken on a journey with somebody else's song, you can relate to something very heavily, or you can be brought into something new that you don't even know about, but you can feel it, even though it might be something that that you're not familiar with.
Absolutely, man.
So, those first few songs we talked about a lot about the relationships. Then the last one. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Be all right. Well, out comes the gospel influence, right?
Yeah, there it is.
There's lots of soul and lots of gospel on that one.
Yeah, man.
And what a way, that's the last track on the album, right?
Yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah, and talk about ending with a bang, right?
Oh, yeah, man. So after you done, headed back to the blues and you done found that my maybe and she done made you sit down and You cried your heart out about what happened here and there. When you get to a point where you say, you know what, I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna pick myself up and dust my shoulders off and straighten my gig line, and I'm gonna keep stepping with my head held high.
Mm-hmm.
Be all right is a feel good song.
It sure
It's,
is.
it's inspirational to me because I mean, me personally, I've been through some things in life, and that song there and that storyline and that feel and that groove, that oh yeah, I want to shake my shoulders, and you hear it, it makes that situation that you went through a lot lighter, and you realize that you're on the other side of it, and you're a lot better.
That's it.
And you think to yourself, yeah, I'm gonna be all right. I'm good.
Yeah.
I can get back to life.
That's revival.
Yeah, man.
That's revival. And and it's funny when I was talking about being late, coming in late to the blues party. My impression of the blues, my view, my idea of the blues, because I didn't really know that much about it. But it was kind of like, it's a little kind of depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the songs, when you're young, when you're young, you really don't want to hear about a struggle. You want to dance and have a good time. But then as you get older and you go through your own struggles, you begin to relate to the struggles of other people, other
absolutely.
songs, and it brings you in, and you begin to appreciate the struggles. And like you said, you can feel, like, the blues is music really that you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feel it deeply, it's really not depressing. You feel connected.
Absolutely.
You feel connected to
That's what
people.
it's about.
And then there's a lot of blues is about revival, and it's about not only the struggle, but the revival.
Yeah.
Getting through the struggle, getting over the struggle, the triumph of it all.
And becoming better.
Becoming better. The phoenix rising. There's a connection between the blues and gospel. They're heavily connected.
Oh yeah, man.
You may not always hear that gospel sound in the blues, but if it's a blues song and it's talking about redemption, revival,
Mm-hmm.
those are gospel elements, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're pretty much interchangeable, man. And it's like everything about those genres of music, they all tie together when it comes to the certain sounds and the certain feels and the stories. Whether you listening to blues or you listening to, soul music or R&B, most R&B, all of that stuff, to me personally, is like the blues is the granddaddy.
Mm.
Like gospel and blues is like granddaddy and grandma. Everybody else, y'all learning from us. And it's all those stories in there. And that is what you said earlier. That's what connects us. It's not the music. Yeah, it feels good. It sounds good. It touches us. But those words and those stories and hearing it come from an artist, and that they really feel it.
Yeah.
It's coming from their soul. It connects with you immediately. And
Yeah.
you start to hear those words and you process those, and you like, oh man.
And you're feeling it too.
Where you're coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel where you're coming from. So sometimes I did feel like certain parts of elements of the music was depressing as being younger. But you're right, growing older and going through life, and you listen to those artists and you listen to those words, and you really connect with them. Yeah. You're like, wow, you went through some of the same things that I did. Your story may not be exactly the same as mine, but I had those same emotions. I had those same feelings, and I had to figure it out the same similar ways that you did, and I did. And now I'm on the other side, and I can connect with what you created. I can connect with your creation. I can connect with your music. I can connect with you as a human being. And that's a beautiful thing in life, when we can find something like music to connect.
Yeah, to connect, and then also to feel supported, and to be, like you said, to relate, to be connected, and then also I think some of the songs help people navigate They help navigate the struggles. They help people lift things up that are heavy, because when we support each other, we're not carrying the load by ourselves.
That's right.
So when the music makes you feel connected, it's like we're not alone. We're not the only one going through this, and we could get through it.
Absolutely.
Love it. So now you're bringing these songs to life on the road, is that right?
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about that process, how you're doing it.
So, I mean, I've been on the road the last 3.5 years with these songs here. Well, I've been on the road to have 3.5 years with these songs. I've been on the road with them maybe about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And each and every one of them, I love singing them. I love performing them because of the stories and because of the message and because of the sound and the grooves that it gives people. And I watch people as I'm performing, and it's not, just about me up there dancing or me singing. It's the people are really connecting with the stories. They're really having a moment of where I feel what he's saying. I've been through this, or even, thinking about stuff where it's about, loving one another. And I've seen couples just look over at each other and just smile. Those are the beautiful things about music that brings people together that I love. And that's been going on the last 1.5 years with these tracks here.
That's
and
awesome.
There's many more to come.
So you can see the reward when you're looking out into the audience, and you can see people dancing around, holding each other.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's one of those performances where, everybody just came to watch and listen. You can see the facial expressions. You can feel that it's a certain feeling in the room or in the area when people start to connect and they understand. And it's surreal, man. It's a different feeling when you're on that stage and you're connecting with people that you may have never seen before. You don't know their names, you never seen their faces, but the fact that you can connect with another human being through your music is beautiful.
What a cool thing, a beautiful thing, like you said.
Yeah, man.
So, the band that you're touring with, is it the same band that you talked about that was played on the album?
No, so this is an entirely new band.
Okay.
Want
to introduce your band members?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I got my my director of music and drummer, Richard Porter. Most of these guys are from where I'm from, in Gainesville,
Okay.
Florida. And I actually met these guys through another guy that I've been knowing for 3 or 4 years. And he was like, "Hey, man, I got somebody I want you to meet." So me and Richard got on the phone a day later. And, we discussed music and we discussed some things. We were actually getting ready for Camping with the Blues. And he had an actual band, a stick that he normally plays with. And he was like, "Okay, I'm going to bring these guys in and we're going to, work on your set and we're going to bang it out." And a couple of the guys I was already familiar with. The guy, Greg, a bass player that I ran into. And I'm the keyboard guy, Lynn. So those two guys kind of got some chemistry there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other lead guitarist, his name is Scott. I think he says he calls himself Sky Type as a stage name.
Okay.
And I told him I'm going to check him out because we actually haven't had a chance to rehearse fully yet.
Okay.
And I told him, "Yeah, I'm going to check you out, man." These guys, they've been on the road together quite a lot. And they've played quite a few festivals and a lot of different venues. And they're tight work.
Nice.
We're going to get together, man, and give it all on that day on the 18th.
Yes, you beat me to it. Camping with the Blues.
Oh, man.
I got my tickets already. I got some friends also playing that day, so I'm going to be out there getting into it. So tell us about Camping with the Blues. That's in Brooksville, Florida, and it's October October 17th to the 19th.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, man.
What do you know about Camping with the Blues?
So Camping with the Blues, I've never been to this event before. So Mr. Benjamin, when he came to me and booked me, it was back in February, I believe. And he was like, "Hey man, I want to see what you got. I want to see what your band is bringing." And ever since then, man, I've been hyped up about it because it was really my first. Well, it is my first venue or show that I'm actually completely upfront, and it's me.
Right on.
So it was nerve-wracking and exciting at the same time. So I've never experienced Camping with the Blues. I know it's been going on for quite a few years, but I was excited about it. Still am excited about it. And I'm looking forward to the experience.
Me too. I've never been to Camping with the Blues either, so I'm really looking forward to it also.
Hey, man, we're going to learn a lot.
Hey, man. So is this your festival debut?
Yes.
Right on. Love it.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, we're taking it to the next level, right?
Yeah, man.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Camping with the Blues, October 17th to the 19th, Brooksville, Florida. Tickets are available at campingwiththeblues.com. We're going to have links to your social media pages in the liner notes for this interview, so people can find your music and keep up to date with what's going on with Mark Barner and the Mark Barner Band and Camping with the Blues. Get your tickets now. Mark, I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us, sharing your music with us, and I'm excited to be along on the ride with you. Looking forward to seeing you at Camping with the Blues.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. And one thing I do want to share is the movement that I've got going on. That's more music, more stories, with more blues.
More music, more stories, more blues. Right on.
Yeah, man.
We're going to end it with that, and I will see you in Brooksville.
All right, man. I can't wait.
All right. Take care, Mark.
You too.